Hey guys, my name is Mitsumiyo, and today I'm excited to say that we now know all the details and changes coming to Rainbow Six Siege with this new Season 3. The first thing that they announced is the brand new operator Amaru, who has access to a grappling hook. Now, a lot of people were speculating on how this grappling hook was going to work, but it's actually fairly limited. You can use this like a normal rappel to get to the top of a building much faster than normal, but its real use is going to come in the form of getting through barricaded windows or just open windows or going up hatches. This is going to be, I think, one of the biggest game changer operators that we've seen in quite some time, really just because of the movement and how quickly she's going to be able to move around the map. Now, she does come with some counters, the most obvious ones being the trap operators. A frost trap is going to stop her in her tracks. Capcan Ella will be a quick notification that she just flung herself on into the objective room. Castle will also make it so that it's literally impossible for her to use her grappling hook on said window. She's going to have to make her way on up and use a breaching charge if she wants to get on through, at least with her gadgets. Now, sadly, she isn't going to be bringing any new weapons to the table. She's going to have access to the G8A1 and the Supernova. I know a lot of people were hoping that we were going to have some new weapons to play around with, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Her secondary is the ITA and the SMG-11, and she's going to be using claymores and the stun nades. All in all, though, I cannot wait to play as this operator because I truly do believe that she is going to be changing up the game in a significant way. Not only is this going to give offense more options and tools to be able to approach the objective, but defense is now going to have to think about their strategies more on how they reinforce the map. Now, that hatch that normally would have been a no-brainer to open on up so that you could just use it as a flanking route could be a double-edged sword. The trophy room on Chalet now is probably going to be much harder to defend. That window in the back room, which is normally inaccessible to offense, is now accessible because of Amaru. If she's able to get in there a lot easier than anyone else, that is going to be something that defense has to consider. The next operator that they showed off is Goyo, who has the Vulcan shield. The way it works is that it is essentially a normal deployable shield, but the twist on it is that it has a red canister where either if the shield gets taken out or if anyone shoots the red canister, it causes a bit of an explosion and fire will spread around everywhere. Now, I will admit that even when they were showing this off, I was having a hard time understanding how the vast majority of the player base is gonna get much use out of this. If someone is jumping over his deployable shield, you have two options. Either you can try to take out the player, which is probably the smart idea because they're gonna do everything they can to take you out if they see you, or you could shoot at the red canister to try to deal some fire damage. Like, that doesn't seem like it's going to be all that beneficial. And so I think really where this is going to come into play is at higher levels, like the Pro League, for example, and is really just going to be a gadget used to slow down the progress of the offensive team. This is essentially going to be an alternative to smoke. If you want to ensure that they can't push in at the last couple of seconds, place this around where you assume that they're going to try to plant the diffuser and then do everything you can to slow down their progress. If you pair Goyo with a smoke, that might be enough aerial denial to eat away at the clock like 30 seconds, where that's going to force offense to make some tough decisions where they need to rush on in, which is going to hopefully swing the favor into the defensive side. The thing about it, though, is that Goyo's gadget is a lot less versatile than something like smoke. Yes, it has the benefit that it is a shield, so it blocks that line of sight. You can use it in that capacity, but smoke can throw his gadget anywhere he wants. You're going to have to really know where offense is going to push at the very beginning because you're not going to be able to adapt to a different push if you haven't placed your shield down in the right position. So I'm really curious to see how all that's going to play out. Now, disappointingly, just like Amaru, he's not going to be bringing any new weapons to the game. He will have access to Mira's Vector, which could be quite powerful. He is 2 armor, 2 speed. I should have mentioned that before. And so someone that has more of that maneuverability with the Vector could be quite strong, but he's also going to have access to Cave reads shoddy, also with the ACOG. Now, what's curious about this is that a while ago, Ubisoft basically had the stance that only 3 armor operators were going to be able to use the ACOG. That was kind of their design philosophy, but obviously that goes against this. The only thing I can think of for why they've decided to do this is that either they plan on changing their policy and more 2 armor or 3 speed operators are now going to have access to this attachment, or they just feel that because it is a shoddy, that giving it access to an ACOG is going to limit its long-range potential. This isn't going to be like the SMG-11 a couple of years ago, where you can long-range take people out with a high RPM. It is going to reel it in, and so that spawn peak potential isn't going to be quite as potent. That is also a possibility. All in all, though, like I said before, I'm not 100% sold on Goyo quite yet. Maybe I'm not looking at it from the right angle. There could be some really strong synergies with other operators or strategies that I just can't think of right now, but it just seems like he's going to be very situational, and his gadget, while cool in concept, I don't think is going to have that much of an impact on the overall game, but we are just going to have to wait and see. Now, as for something that I am really excited about, we have the rework of the map canals. You may have noticed throughout today's video that there are a lot of similarities that it shares with the old version, but they've done a substantial overhaul. Not only is the aesthetic completely different, it looks significantly better, at least in my opinion, but they've tried to solve a lot of the problems that the old map had and made it more competitive. Probably the most obvious adjustment is that they've added in a second bridge. One of the biggest weaknesses of this map for the old version was that there was only one way for you to be able to move from one building over to the other. And so as long as offense locked down that bridge, there really wasn't anything that defense could do about it. They've also expanded and added in a few new rooms. Down below in the boathouse in particular, there is now a brand new room that wasn't there before. The garage section is now considered the outside of the building and is no longer going to be accessible for the defensive team. You can still go out there if you want to, but it's going to notify offense, obviously, of your presence. That was one thing that the developers were really focusing on in this presentation, was that they built and designed this newer version to try to stop the amount of spawn peaking, which was really prevalent on this map, at least in the original version, and so hopefully they've done a good job in that respect as well. They also made the surprising announcement that they're adding in a battle pass system. Season 3 will feature a free version for everyone to unlock, but Season 4 will have the premium one where you'll be able to achieve some cosmetic items. Now, they haven't talked about the monetization of this quite yet. I'm sure we'll learn more about those details in the near future. But people have already expressed their concerns. You have already monetized this game in basically every way possible. You have to buy the game outright. There is the season pass. They've now been adding in the seasonal loot box system, which you can't purchase with Renown. There is the in-game currency, and now you have the battle pass system. The only thing left at this point that they don't have is essentially a subscription model. And so I'm really curious to see how they handle this. Is this going to be an extension of the season pass, where all season pass owners will have access to the premium battle pass system? I'd be kind of surprised by that, but that would be awesome for all those users. Or are they going to probably go the more realistic route, where this is literally just another thing that you have to buy to unlock more of these cosmetic items? They've also made some announcements on what they're going to be changing to the game overall, and that is that they are going to be removing some maps from the ranked pool, which is Hereford Base, Theme Park, and Fortress. I know that some people out there were really hoping that Skyscraper was going to be another one that was going to be removed from ranked, but I gotta admit, the ones that they are removing are well deserved. I'm hopeful that with the theme park rework that it will get reintroduced next season, but Hereford Base and Fortress definitely don't really play as well as I'm assuming Ubisoft was hoping for, and so I think that this is a good change. The last couple of things that they talked about is that they're going to be increasing the penalties to leaving games. So if you are someone who constantly leaves games over and over and over again, it's now going to ramp up the penalty for doing so, and they're also now going to recognize if players are team killing if they're in a squad. If they get that TTK penalty, everyone on their squad is going to get that as well, and so if they try to take you out, or their friend does, they're also going to have that reverse damage, and so hopefully that will resolve that entirely. They also added in a brand new champion ranked above Diamond. If you are someone who loves Rainbow Six Siege, you want to strive to be the best and show that off, you now have a new rank to grind for. And then finally, they're adding in the brand new Unranked playlist. It has the same rule sets and maps that Ranked does, but obviously it doesn't have the same matchmaking where if you lose or win, you go up and down and your actual ranked isn't going to be affected. So if you and your friends have a big disparity between their ranks, or you just simply want to mess around but you don't want to play in casual, because let's be honest, casual really isn't the Siege experience a lot of the times, you are going to have this other option. Overall though, I am really excited by what I saw with this upcoming season. There are a couple things that I am a bit disappointed by, like the lack of new weapons that they're introducing, but by and large, the two new operators look very intriguing. I'm excited to see how they're going to be shaking up the game. Canal looks significantly better than it was before, and it does seem like they're adding in a lot of great quality of life improvements overall, and so I cannot wait to finally get my hands on this content. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about these two new brand new operators. Are you excited about Amaru? Are you a bit hesitant about Goyo like I am? Let me know what you guys think down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.